Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Now a week ago I put together this planner for the EoP acceptance and Carina's challenges number 3 just for people to do some team building and all that. I had a bit of a busy week. I was able to knock out the robots. But I am starting to put together my plan for the rest of the challenges. I am going to be able to do it in 5 total. I'm going to be doubling up on one of them. And what I wanted to do was just do a quick update video letting you know my plan of attack. And the most fun part is the rank ups and signature stone usage that I'm going to be doing in order to complete this. I do always love when content has a reason to rank up specific champions. We all know that there's just like generically really good champions. Maybe you're ranking for war or, for battlegrounds or something like that. But when there's a specific challenge, especially this one, which is going to yield my first rank 5, it just kind of feels like old school MCOC for me, where it's like I have to rank up this champ to get it done. And especially some of the rank ups I get to do are not new champions. They're older champions that I've sort of always wanted an excuse to rank up. And now I finally have them. So I'm pretty excited about this. I'm hoping to knock this thing out in the next 3 weeks or so. Some people are really into getting it done as soon as possible, but I do want to try to do this cheaply. I've been doing a lot of farming. I was able to get like 100 potions in 2 days, which is pretty good rate. So hopefully we can knock out a couple with the current stash, and then we may need to start going into the free crystals and do a little bit more farming. But the game really has great ways to farm. So if you can do it by just farming ahead of time and just being a little patient, I think that really helps. But also no shame in just getting this thing done as quickly as possible, because getting your first rank 5 is pretty darn exciting, and I love to see that. So this won't be that long, but just going through it, my first run, I learned a lot that the people that are using the 4 Hercules fights at the beginning are pretty smart. It's pretty much the cheapest way to do the first 4 fights, and I tried to do it a certain way. And as you can see, I used Doom because he's like the best counter for Dormammu. I actually got another solo with Ultron versus Bishop. So I kept doing these 2 fights until I got a solo, and then I moved on. And then Omega Sentinel was so good for the crossbones. I learned that from Vega. He let me know about it. I know a lot of people are just like using Herc for this fight, but she's not only really double immune, but she's going to just regen the whole fight. So it's basically just like a Bane crossbones where you just bait his special ones, and you're going to end with close to full health. Now here's where my issue came without Hercules. It was this Overseer. Between these 3 champions, I just didn't have a counter for him. So this was a very item heavy fight. He's got everything from his retaliation damage to, you can't parry him. He's just going to be hitting your block really bad. You have special concussions, so things are just going to go wrong. And I didn't really have a counter to this node. So obviously, in the future, I'm going to be using Hercules. You can already see over here, I'm starting to go that route. Now, moving forward, the 2 Dragon Man fights were quite good. I just didn't play at my best. One of the issues with Eternity of Pain Acceptance is you don't get the reps on the fight before you go in. One of the really nice things about the original incarnation of this content is, it was a 0 energy fight. You just go up to it, you can practice it like 10 times and then try to get your run in. Where, when you're this deep into Eternity of Pain Acceptance, you're not going to turn around if you have a bad start against Craven. So, I kept trying to get what I was finding was my punish time at the end of his specials was too late, and I was just getting smacked a few times. So I just had to find that window. It just took a few revives before I got the rhythm of it. But once I did, Dragon Man is really good. His special one will put on a slow, which gets rid of the unstoppable. And then it's essentially just like a big Craven at that point. You just sort of try to spam your special ones and have a good time. Omega Sentinel soloed Scorpion. I think the reason I got that solo is because I had already done it twice before on, the Scorpion week and also on the 4 boss week. So I was very familiar with that fight. I had my reps on it. And you can kind of see the trend here. It's like I got 4 solos and then 4 sort of like unit man fights, because the ones I didn't solo took a while. The Dragon Man versus Icarus, again, it was like something I wish I could have practiced, because once I got the rhythm going, it was pretty awesome. Again, I was spamming special ones, not throwing special twos, throwing special threes if I got to them, but it was really fun to do like the heavy counters and baiting the special ones at heavies and everything. He's a really good counter there. And then we got to Penny, which, as I said, was just painful. There's no natural counter here. I found Ultron was my best bet because he had access to like landing a bunch of bleeds early. So even if I knew I was going to die quickly in the fight, I could just get off a bunch of damage because she's not bleed immune, and do it that way. So that one, it wasn't that bad. As I said, I got the 4 solos. But overall, I think there could have been a smarter way to do these first 4 fights. So then moving on to Dimensional Beings. This is not necessarily the next one I'm going to do, but you can see I have the tags up here. So for Dimensional Beings, I am going to go the Hercules route. I'm going to put on Recoil and just get through those first 4 fights. Then we're going to use CGR for the next 2. I think there's some good models out there for CGR working for both of these fights. Recoil is still going to be on, so I think that's a benefit to CGR here, especially if I'm boosting. It's going to be great. For Icarus, we're going to use the Mystic Hood, and then we have a Gallon versus Penny. I mean, that's as smooth of a counter as you can get for that fight. So yeah, Gallon, that should be fine. I've seen this is a pretty common team for this, so there's nothing too crazy there. Then we have Thunderbolts. And now I might be a little crazy, but I'm gonna try to lean into Ghost a little bit here. And the only Thunderbolts I have that I can use are Ghost, Rulk, and Juggernaut. And we know that Ghost and Juggernaut are proven. I haven't seen Rulk work too well, but I was thinking he might be good for Scorpion because the poisons won't do anything on him. They'll ramp him up, and he's pretty tanky, so if he goes into that fight with full health, like if this is the first time I use him, I'm pretty sure I can get the solo because his basic hits do a lot of damage. He can take blocked hits. The poisons aren't going to do anything if, we accidentally take a sting damage. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how I'm going to do that fight, just to kind of save Ghost. And then for Penny, man, I don't know, maybe Ghost, but I'm thinking Red Hulk here. Juggernaut, obviously, for Icarus because he's the Mystic. And I'm pretty sure he'll work for Kraven as well. And then in this front part, we do have a couple Herc fights. We are going to have Recoil on, but I am going to try Ghost versus Bishop and Ghost versus Crossbones because, I mean, she's a great Bishop counter, and this has Biohazard, which is like one of her best nodes. So I don't know if that's a bad idea. There might be some things I'm not considering, but I'm going to definitely try Ghost here because she does have the tag, and it'll kind of shake things up a little bit. Now, the next 2 runs are the Mutants and the Alpha Flight, and here's the problem. My Alpha Flight is horrendous. Like, I don't have anyone in that tag ranked up. So what I decided to do, I know a lot of people are doubling up on the Juggernaut paths, and I think that would be really fun and something that I could get done. But I'm actually going to double up on the OG Scarlet Witch paths because I'm interested in ranking her. She's one of the champions I was talking about, like having a reason to rank would be fun. And like I said, my Alpha Flight is so horrendous that I would rather just do an OG Scarlet Witch run and just get it done. So that's what I'm going to do. And then that's how we're going to do that. I do think it's going to be painful, especially the Penny Parker. But she's not the worst for Icarus and Kraven, and Scorpion, I don't know how that's going to work, but Scorpion's basically just to like kill them with basic hits. The one thing I'm worried about is she does have like the ability where we both power drain, and if that happens and we get back to under a bar of power, it gets ugly because then we're going to trigger the beat the buzzer node again, and then we might have to take another burst of damage. So there's a little bit of RNG involved there. But overall, Scorpion's probably one of the easier fights overall because you just get to a bar special 3 and just like hold it. So yeah, hopefully that goes okay. We'll see how that goes. Rogue is going to be on my team, but she's not going to be ranked. So she can do a couple reps of it just to test the fight, I guess. But yeah, we're going to go OG Witch all the way, see how that works out. And then finally, the only one that is going to use the upper path is the spiders. And my team's going to be Spider-Gwen, Miles Morales, and the Spidey 2099. And so the first fight, it's the first fight on the map, so I feel like I can try it a bunch of times. I know that Spidey 99 can shut down the power gain from recharge if you can manage it, if you can get to a special 2 and keep it up. It's not the safest strategy because it kind of messes up the rhythm of the fight, and it also has brute force, so you can't just pound his block like you would normally do with Spidey 99, but there might be a way to kind of like heavy in the corner and throw special 2s or something. So this is going to just be like we're going to bring in the team, we're going to test some stuff out, and once we get like a really solid run, we're just going to start the run and just move forward. Now I'm not going to turn on recoil because I don't think CGR necessarily needs it. For Havoc, I know CGR works. You can do like the special 3 rotation. For Warlock, I know CGR works because you don't have to worry about even dexing or anything because you get guaranteed crits. So your special 2s are basically always going to do damage if you land an intercept before. And then the Nick Fury, I don't remember being that bad of a fight. I'm probably going to just play it like I would just like pretend I'm fighting a random Nick Fury. I'm not going to really worry about CGR's judgments that much, just kind of like get Nick down and pay attention to the node. And the only reason I'm going to use CGR is because the rest of my team is science champions, so I don't think they'll do as well. And then we're going to get rid of CGR and bring in Spider-Gwen. MODOK and Blade both have unblockable, and I actually soloed MODOK with Miles in the Eternity of Pain gauntlet of like the 4 fights when MODOK was there, so I know that one's proven. And with Blade, I need to watch some videos, but I'm assuming you can like push him to special 2 and then just like absolutely take the special 2, miss everything because it's unblockable, and then that's how you get your openings. I'm assuming that's going to work, but again, I want to watch some video. For Terrax, it's not ideal, but Spidey 99 is rank 4, and he is able to apply debuffs, which is going to make the energy damage less. And maybe I'll throw special 1s so that I get more resistance stacks. I'm not sure. But I do feel like he'll do a pretty good job here. We'll see how that goes. And then for Dragon Man, the plan is Spider-Gwen. I wish I could use her more. I'm playing around with her because I recently ranked her, and she hits pretty darn hard, especially when she gets her 5 spider charges. So I'm interested to see how that goes. And then, of course, Spidey 99 can absolutely cheese the Thanos fight. So I'm hoping to get a solo on Thanos because he can be a little bit of a pain. Having some nightmares about him because he's really not the easiest boss out there, but we'll see how that goes. And then now the fun part, let's take a look at the rank ups and stuff. So first of all, over here, the order I'm going to go is Robot, then I'm doing Spiders because that will complete the EoP map because we're doing the other side, and that'll give us more Sig Stones and a rank 4 gem. Then I'm going to do Dimensional because it seems the least painful. Then Thunderbolt because that could potentially be expensive, and I don't want to go into the OG Switch run until like everything else is done and I can like super farm up for Witch and just have a good time and not risk anything. So that's going to be the order. I mean, I want to start the Spiders today. This is Tuesday. And if we do that, like I might be able to get this done in the next like 2 weeks or so, or 3 weeks. We'll see. And then for the rank ups, we have Spider-Gwen went to rank 3, which is awesome. I've been waiting for a reason to rank her up, and we finally have it. Now, Scarlet Witch, this is nuts, but I was thinking about it. I'm going to get 2 new rank 4s and a rank 5 from completing this content. I'm like, you know what? We're just going to rank 4 Sig 200 Scarlet Witch because why not? One of the funny things is when she got nerfed or everything, her Veil of Fortune or whatever it is went down to 85% on the 4-star. But for the 5 and 6-star, it's actually all the way up to like 90% whenever you crit. And, what I was thinking is that the rank 4 is going to crit more because of the way challenge rating works. We're going up against these massive 7-star champions that have huge challenge rating. I might make a video on that too, because the stats on 7 stars are kind of bonkers too, if you haven't looked at them. But they have a very, very high challenge rating, which means you crit less. So having a rank 4 Scarlet Witch means that I will slightly crit more, and then having her Sig 200 means that the Veil of Fortune abilities will happen more often. I think it's worth it. She can do some things in Battlegrounds. She comes up for that Alpha Flight tag every once in a while. I don't think I'm going to regret this. Now, Hercules is a little bit of a meme for me. I've like resisted awakening and sigging this guy up for the longest time. And then I accidentally finally duped him in like a basic Nexus crystal recently. It was like, well, I guess I'm just going to awaken him. But it's finally time to sig him up. I'm going to keep him rank 3 because I feel like with recoil and like a 30% boost, I don't really need the rank 4, but I do need the high sig because the reason he's so cheesy for those first fights is because of how long the immortality lasts, not necessarily how hard he hits. I mean, obviously that's part of it, but I looked it up, and if I can get him to 160, you get an 8.5-second immortality versus the max is 9 seconds. So even if I can just get him to 160, that's good, but I'm going to keep going, see if I can get him higher. Now, Gallon, I have been holding off awakening him, but because that Penny Parker has the power burn, I think I want him at least awakened. I'm not going to be able to sig him up. His ideal sig is 120 because then you get 3 of the charges for anytime you get power burned. But even at sig 1, you get 1, which is enough to help ramp him up. I don't think it's worth plugging sig stones into him yet, but for now, just having him awakened is going to make a difference. So we're going to use an awakening gem on Gallon. No regrets there. And then Rulk is going to rank 3. Part of that was because of this hazard shift meta in Battlegrounds right now. I also added him to my deck, and I thought it was just time to rank him, but he might be able to do some stuff on that team. I may regret this one, but you know, Rulk is a timeless character, and I don't think it's that bad to rank him. So anyway, that's my plan. Like I said, spiders are starting today. I have a good stash, so I'm not going to have to get into the units, and we'll just see how ambitious I am and how much free time I have, because I might be able to crank out the other 3 runs not too soon after. I'll keep you updated. We'll obviously post the opening, and then also coming up is the new featured crystal is going to be here very, very soon, and we're going to do a big opening there. I think I have at least 15 crystals. I might have closer to 20 crystals to open. Maybe, yeah, I think I'm close to 20 crystals actually, which should be pretty fun to open the new featured, try to get Carl and some of the other champions that I don't have, like Immortal Doom and stuff like that. Anyway, that's going to do it for now. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope that your Carina's run is going well as well. I'll keep you updated. Have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one.